Hello. I don't know what's what. Hello, hello, and also hello. And welcome to another Daily Code Fun. I am One Lion. And today is Friday, August 12th. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Had a fantastic week. Ready for the weekend. If you work over the weekend and your weekend shifts to a different set of days, I hope it's been a good week so far for you. Yes. I love this shirt. So I don't know if you guys have ever eaten Who Hot. I used to go there every week at university, almost every weekend, maybe twice a week. Such good. So very good. But anyway, I like it hot. That's today for you. I need to get some stuff open. Today's Community Day on this channel. We haven't been doing much with it, but I still do want to invite anyone that is interested in talking about a topic that they are interested in, preferably technology related. DC Aggie, I was going to call you out real quick. Thank you, as a good kind of call you out. You had a really, really fun stream. At least it was the rerun of it was fun. This is DC Aggie, by the way.
Never mind.
Cow, that's loud.
We're getting off, buddy.
Maybe we walk. Oh, great. Scary. Where are you?
Anyway, DC Aggie games on occasion and streams, or he games a lot, but he streams his gaming on occasion. And he was playing Mario Kart 8. I went back and watched his stream from yesterday because I missed it again. I'm usually like pretty disconnected in the evening, so I don't really see when people that normally stream in the evening for me. Um, I don't really see when they start streaming. But I went back and I watched his recording today, and that first race was like this close, and then the very last race, oh, it was good. It was really good. So if you enjoy watching Mario Kart or classic games, even like my favorite level that he played was the last one, which was an F-Zero, kind of F-Zero inspired, I guess, level. It looked like a level from F-Zero. It was really cool. I really liked it seeing it. But anyway, moving on. We have been playing around with a financial management app. We finally got into some code where we are styling the UI. I'm kind of landing on these layout and color scheme type look and feel. We spent a lot of yesterday setting up the localization so that that is already in place for the app. So whenever I put text onto a page, it is going to be wrapped in a localizer service. And I'm kind of curious to see how the development process goes with that. The other thing that I have been wanting to keep in mind as well and do as we are developing and as we are putting together the components and everything is accessibility. So I'm not currently focused on the contrast portion of accessibility because that'll come when that will come when we are doing color theming. We'll have a high contrast color theme that can be turned on. And yeah, but anyway, DC Aggie's going off to a work meeting, so he'll be AFK. I meant to ask him if he's still going if he's been able to go into the office more often, since he likes going into the office. Which project? Which project is having issues? Migrations? Why my migrations is having issues? That was weird. I got some stuttering to do today. The other thing that we did towards the end of yesterday's meeting was we started putting together a card component because one of the main things that we will be using a lot of are cards. So on this main landing page, the login form is a card. Each of these shout out, highlight, whatever they're actually called, um, things are cards. And then I'm going to assume that we will have a card for the account information. So, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be cool. And hello, Zotra Lord. And also, I don't think that I actually said it, but hello, Coding with Scott. I know that I'm always thinking these things, and I think because I think about it so loudly that I actually say it out loud. But hello, Coding with Scott. Hello, DC Aggie. Hello, Zulius. And hello, Dukasoft as well. Anyone that happens to be lurking, hello, Captain Commerce. Are you streaming tonight, Captain Commerce? If I know to look out for it, I might be able to show up. Hello, Amin. Oh man, we get a treat today. It's a good thing I don't say all the things I think. Why not? And yes, Captain Commerce will be streaming tonight. Let's get a clip from him.
To release their next greatest database,
Excel.
2.0.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. So Captain Commerce works on a product called Nop Commerce. He creates extensions for it. He makes it interesting to use. And just an overall quality streamer. Lots of fun, lots of shenanigans going on. That was good timing. Why was that one good timing? Are you working in your favorite database? Oh, I can't hear alerts. I didn't even hear the yay. Amin says database or database. You know how I say it. I say database. Right. Let me make sure that my alerts I can hear. Database with a D. They're all D's. All right, I should be able to hear sound alerts now. The other thing that I'm always forgetting to do lately is to actually hop into my stream room and set Discord to come through the right audio source, destination, whatever, which is Realtek Digital Audio Output. And what is it? Does anybody want this? First of all, let's look up what this is. Hopefully it's not porn. That's a terrible game name for me to look it up. It's from Perfect World. So I used to play Perfect World and Forsaken World, and I think they even had one other game that we played. What else did PWE make? Perfect World Entertainment. Which one? Jade Dynasty is what she said. Jade Dynasty. That's taken a while. I'll have to come back to that. But what is Tower of Fantasy? Kind of? Yeah, I have no idea what this is. Do you have any... Ow. That's super loud for me. Jeez. So I should be... Wait, Perfect World is the one that also made Genshin Impact? I know you guys can't hear it. I'm afraid to do any kind of YouTube audio on the stream. It doesn't look like my cup of tea. But anyway, my Discord Nitro, I forgot that I had gotten a free trial or whatever the thing is, and it just automatically rolled over because I didn't cancel the free trial. So Discord Nitro is giving away a Tower of Nitro avatar pack. I'm assuming the game itself is free. Perfect World Entertainment usually does free games. But there's an extra pack, avatar pack. It's a gotcha trap. Other people say it's not too bad. I don't mind gotchas. I love free stuff. So if a game has heavy gotchas, I don't know. I don't mind it so much. The act of tapping on a little thing, getting a prize, and yeah. That's why I don't play very many mobile games. I could get sucked into them just because of the whole tap claim. Yeah. It doesn't look like a cup of tea at all, says Captain Commerce. Um, it's basically like Genshin Impact as an MMO, so I do love MMOs. But I'm currently playing, not actively, but we're still playing Final Fantasy XIV. We played a little bit of Ion again lately, which was fun. Got our fix in that. Oh, okay, cool. So I'll find out if that's something that I want to actually use, and if not, then I will gift um, the code to someone. And we'll do it randomly. Anyone that would want that kind of a code. But that all depends on whether or not I am actually interested. I guess I really shouldn't be advertising. I'm going to give away that code when I don't really know whether or not I want to use it myself. So, if I don't use it, then I'll be giving it away. So it won't be on Monday because I want to send out a reminder that I won't be streaming on Monday because I will be busy with the half day of interviews. I don't want to think about that right now. Let's continue on with this. But Amin said, what about database or database? Heck yeah, database. Zelia said the Final Fantasy XIV live letter for patch 6.2 plus was earlier today. I probably should update that after the stream because I plan on playing some of it sometime soon. Plus the release trailer for it. And I don't know how, but they managed to make an MMO. Square managed to make an MMO that I I find really, really laid back and also fun. It's very, you can play casually and you can play actively. Um, my wife and I duo all of the content, and it's been really, really fun. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything if I don't play for a couple weeks and then we pick it back up and it's like we don't have 60 million dailies that we have to do and click this red dot to make it go away kind of stuff. It's quality, in my opinion. And the story is cool too. Okay, so cards, cards. But yeah, we can talk about whatever. If any of you do have, as I mentioned, any topics that you are interested in discussing, you can hop into a voice channel and we can verbally discuss it, or you can just mention it in chat and we can have a discussion there as well. So the things that I've been very interested in lately are, of course, all of the Maui technology update things. A cool thing happened yesterday. It's also a great comeback story since the original version of the game was a complete disaster. Oh man. So the two games that always come up, and I said always, and I don't say always very often. The two games that invariably, how's that, come up when people talk about comeback stories, No Man's Sky and Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. Because the original launch of Final Fantasy XIV, I remember Christy and I were playing Riders of Icarus, and I saw this Final Fantasy XIV trailer, and I'm like, what is that? I want to play that. And it's like just this distinct memory that I have. But we were in the middle of playing another MMO actively, and I'm like, that one is a subscription. And then we heard news that there was just a whole bunch of mess with the servers being laggy, the content being missing, and it was just choppy. It was overdone. I'm interested in you talking about Tower of Fantasy gameplay tips. Are you really? I don't know if you're being sarcastic or facetious or if you're being genuine. Let's start with technology stuff first. Um, for example, when you create Blazor components, do you generally tend to create separate libraries for each component? Do you put them in a separate library? Do you keep them in your UI project? Do you even have a separate UI project? But yeah, as I was starting to say though, Maui and getting a whole bunch of Maui stuff to cooperate, figuring it out, learning about how the Maui ecosystem actually works is something that I've been doing a lot of research on because it doesn't feel straightforward to me. And a lot of presentations on Maui make it seem like it's pretty straightforward. I guess one thing that would make it easier on me, which I've been avoiding doing so far, but I think it's time that I start using it, is the Maui Community Toolkit because it abstracts a lot of things. For example, observable properties just by adding an attribute on them. I really like that. But the cool thing that happened yesterday was I was talking with the project lead of the project that I'm working on, and if you were here for me when I was were here when I was talking about these things, I've been doing that project in Maui, and I started the project in Maui because they were like, we want to make this or update the UI design for this existing desktop application, and we want to use Blazor for it. And I'm like, hey, there's this really cool thing called Maui that I can write Blazor and ship in a product. And on top of that, we get the benefit of that product being compatible with mobile operating systems, Mac, Tizen, Windows, and web. Even though they're only targeting Windows, but at least it has both Windows and web side by side. And what was the other thing? Oh, while I was talking with him, he was like, well, we're starting to kind of have concerns about the direction that you're going. So I talk with the client team weekly. And I like how you put nougat with NOO. I talk with the client team weekly, give them updates, and this is all about the UI prototyping, the UI design, and getting it all put together. And so on last Tuesday, we talked about how I feel like I'm to the point where the UI is pretty solid. There are some quirks that I need to fix. There are some minor things that I would like to update. And then I need to focus on accessibility for that too, to make sure that everything is tabbable, everything has a descriptor on it, something that the screen reader is going to recognize in the right order on the screen. Um, Thank you, Max. And I think your shirt is really nice. Um, so he was like, so they're like, we're going to invite in the actual team that's working on the stable existing product so that we can start talking about how they can integrate the UI and all of the existing code into that UI. Because I'm not changing the functionality of the application, I'm just creating the UI for them to perform all of the operations and have an updated look and feel. Um, so he's like, we have the project lead. I'm pretty sure he's a project lead. Was like, we have concerns about the direction that you're going because you're using Maui and we're using WPF. It is dark mode shirt. And thank you. I really appreciate that, Max. It's really kind of you to say. He said, I don't know why, but all black t-shirts are good looking on you. They're good looking on a lot of people. And yeah, I just happen to own a lot more black t-shirts than any other color because it's easier. I don't know. Um, Moral of the story, point of the story is I'm like, but it's going to be just as easy because they have the same Blazor WebView control for WPF applications. And so all you would have to do is add the Blazor WebView control, which they already have another version of the application that uses a Blazor WebView control already. So I'm like, you do exactly what you're doing with that, except point it to like reference my UI library and point it to main.razor. And that's all you have to do. And there was just like some, I'm not sure that it's that easy. What about the services? And I'm like, I'm making all of the the decisions. So I have this interfaces project in that app too. Um, and I'm making all of the interfaces look like their interfaces that they are already using, so that all they have to do is either swap out my library for theirs and then have my Blazor UI project use their interfaces library with a couple of differences because there are a couple of interfaces that I needed to get the UI functionality working the way that I wanted. So they would just have to implement those, or they can use my interfaces and point their concrete classes to these interfaces. So their concrete implementations just have those projects reference my interfaces project instead of theirs. Because again, I'm just trying to make mine look like theirs. So that's one thing that's super easy. And then I was also like, well, let me put together the WPF version of the application and I can just have that as a sample, make it installable for it, and then you can install that and see that it runs exactly the same as the Maui application. And so I did that like super quick yesterday and I sent it to him and I'm like, all right, so here's the WPF version. It was really easy. All I did was create a new WPF app, reference the right library, and then added the Blazor WebView to the main window. And there were a couple things that I had to do differently with like dependency injection, but it was still really easy to do. It's super easy. So I don't think they're going to have a problem with integrating it. Anyway, so coding with Scott said, on a similar subject, I put all the extension methods I use from project to project into a personal local NuGet package. Yeah. So that is absolutely related because what I plan to do is have a version of the Blazor UI project. I don't know how I'm going to do that though. So I just called it UI in my other project, in the work product. But for my UI project, I would like to have it granular enough that they can add it as a NuGet package reference without, I don't know how I would do that, without needing the interfaces, because this thing would need the reference to one of the interface projects, at least, either theirs or mine. So I don't think that that's going to be possible. They might have to use my interfaces project, or we can just replace mine when it comes time to integrate it into theirs, add my extra interfaces into theirs. So examples of interfaces I would have created are state classes. So I would have a whole bunch of state classes, but I didn't want to have a dependency on those state classes for my shared project, because what if they want to implement them differently? So I have a whole bunch of interfaces for my state classes and then a separate state project that they could use if they wanted to use my implementations. So really the only two that should have dependencies are the UI and interfaces. And then my actual project would be the one that uses the concrete classes for state, shared, etc. I already did the Discord. What Discord? Max was saying, I did program today a lot. It's been since I programmed that long. It's been a while since I've programmed that long. I was programming from 1400 to 1840. Jeez, 4.5 hours. Oh no, we're doing that now. We're absolutely doing that now, all day long for the next hour and a half. That is what we're doing. So definitely, if you have any topics you want to discuss, hop into a voice channel. Why aren't we actually seeing the Discord overlay? Discord overlay. Weird. Maybe I need more than one person in there. And thank you, Science Streams. Another fantastic streamer to give a shout out to. Such a good time hanging out on his channel as well.
Some guy named D. Give him
Love
another
these.
shout out. Right now. I will give him another shout out. Hold on. Hold on. Do it. Do it. Why are you so slow? What is the. Why are you so. I'm trying to. Try. Do faster. 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 It's done. It's done. It's done. It's very good. Did you shout out looking cool Zedman yet? No, I'm sorry. I haven't. No, I think it's wrong with you. You're a very bad streamer. I'm sorry, Expression Fair. Hold on. What the? You're so slow. Zedman will hit you now.
So this is like the craziest time for that particular clip to be the one that played, because I was just fantasizing earlier about my Twitch bot, and I wanted to, and will, not wanted to, because I want to do this, but that means that I'm going to do it, set it up so that if there's someone that chats that is one of our community members that streams, like Coding with Scott, for example, who I didn't do a shout out for yet. If I neglect to do a shout out in a certain amount of time, then it will, the bot would be like, hey, One Lion, you haven't done a shout out for this person yet. Do you want me to go ahead and do that? And instead of me needing to type a command for the bot to do it, it would just be listening to me, and I would respond to it in natural language, and it would do the shout out if I say yes. Not like command and control, but natural language. If I said any phrase that was in the affirmative, then it would do it. If I said not now, then it should be able to recognize that and be like, okay, I'll ask you again in what, 3 minutes or something. That would be really cool. But anyway, speaking of coding with Scott. It's so weird. Is this the same clip that we got last time? That was just your starting screen? Maybe there's something that actually happens further in. Hello, broadcasting. Happy Friday. Do you already have ideas of what services to use for NLP? I don't. I have zero clue of how I'm going to accomplish it, but I am going to accomplish it. I can't say zero clue. ML.net is probably something that I could use. What's the other one? Firebase. I don't know if that's a thing that is actually used for that. Prog Testing says, I'm making a HTML scraper to get product catalog data from 1995. What's in 1995? At my first freelance work making a web shop. Oh, right. You actually accepted it then. That's cool. I don't know who's creating clips and why they chose those specific things to clip. It wasn't Deflux, of course. If it was Deflux, it would have been something that makes you look inept. Speaking of, there are two people that I miss on our stream that I haven't seen for a while. And I don't want to call them out because I have no idea if they're lurking and I have no idea if they... I just hope they're well. Yeah. So, we have a car. There was a talk about something. Wasn't there a talk about something? Oh, Max, I didn't finish Max's comment. He said, but not a website, a game, and I lost my sanity by solving the problems. Do you want a GIF? Yes. Yes, we do. Please send. Please send. Send me tell. And remember that you can always post stuff that you are doing inside of the shared any. I mean, yeah, I don't like downloading things from that site. Like anytime I go to that site, there's always some advert that's playing that just makes me be like either distracted and just I but yes, you can send it there. Or you can just, if it's not massive, you can just put it in Discord in the shared any or current project or shared portfolios or one of those channels. It is massive. Do you have a private YouTube channel? I mean, a YouTube channel that you can just make the video private and then share it with me. It's 4.43 megs. That's small enough to be uploaded to Discord. But anyway, I'm downloading it from there. Save. Okay. Good start. Good start. You even have a walking animation. Nice. Yeah, and that took you 2 days. That'd probably take me longer. Let's see it again. Yeah. And Juan Van is like, that would take me all month. Just to figure out how the guy walks. Prog Testing said, so the shop is selling parts for old mechanical tools. Old mechanical tools. Like, you mean old. So they have literal catalogs with the stuff, 9,100 products. I'm scraping from a product catalog consisting of JPEGs only. Good grief. There was a something. I saw Zulius's question, but I responded to it. Saw coding with Scots. Yeah, I guess I did respond to all of those. Did I say literally catalogs? Hopefully I said literal catalogs because that's what he typed. Yeah, definitely good work on that, Max. I know that it's hard work, but I hope that you still were able to enjoy it. And Juan Van wants to know from Prog Testing, what are you trying to do with those products? With the stuff that you're scraping. I worked on the player. I worked 4 hours, 2.5 hours was solving the problems. And I was having fun after I solved the problem, says Max. Yeah. So I don't quite know how to verbalize my, can I call it an obsession? My obsession with getting stuck on a problem. I hate the struggle, but I absolutely love it. Especially after struggling with it for so long and then finally figuring something out. It's the best feeling ever. I don't know. It's weird. Prog Testing says I'm making a CSV, so I'm scraping, converting JPEGs to text, then putting them into correct fields and outputting it to CSV. So are you like actually doing OCR on those JPEGs, or are you getting metadata from them? Max says, in web development, I don't have problems like that, but in Unity, there were like 5 errors things because I forgot to save something. I changed, and it took 30 minutes to realize. Yeah. I've only worked a little bit on them. Just keeping them in line to post them somewhere else. Yeah, it almost sounds like he's creating a separate catalog from the historical catalog. Oh, awesome. He's using machine learning image to text in Azure. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. That is super awesome. And is this the kind that actually just describes the image, not the one that does OCR on it and then gets text from them? All right, Max, thanks for stopping by and thanks for sharing your current progress. That was pretty cool to see. We've been looking at a card screen for a while. This is the one where you tag it. Awesome. Awesome, very cool. And then you get JSON output with the fields. So it like actually describes it as a JSON object. JSON output. I guess it's still JSON. It wouldn't be JSON object. It would be a JSON string. But then again, in JavaScript, JSON is an object. So is it redundant to call it JSON object? JavaScript object notation object. And you can put it at, output it as whatever you want, but he knows JSON. Makes perfect sense. Therefore, it's JSON. Yeah, JSON is a notation which can be output as either a string or the object itself if you're doing something like JavaScript. Thank you, Zulius. You made me feel better about that. Now, JavaScript JSON object, the best type there is. Says prog testing. Says he, render, set card header. How? I remember. Do you remember how to do this? Does anyone remember how to do this? Okay. If you recall yesterday, and feel free to keep chatting, I will keep reading chat. If you recall yesterday, we started putting together this card component. We created all of the inner components of this card, which are every card can have one card body, one card footer, one card header, and then the card bodies can have 0 or more card text, 0 or more card links. And so in order to have each of these be able to be put into, so these are optional. So the card header, 0 or 1 card header, 0 or 1 card body, 0 or 1 card footer. In order to be able to get them to render out here, we need them to be somehow added to the card component itself. And an easy way to do that is by using cascading parameters. And what we want to do is pass the parent card component to the children components. And the way we do that is by simply outputting them here. So here is our render. Wait, how do we do that? Yeah, that's right. Isn't it? Child content. Child content. So we have a parameter, and I could be doing this wrong. So if I am doing it wrong, I'll go back and fix it. But for now, I'm pretty sure this is the right way to do it. We have one render fragment called child content. And this is going to be when you're using a card component, this is going to be everything inside of the angle bracket. So on main page, let's say that we added a card component here. Everything that we put in here, whether it is regular HTML, if it's regular text, or if it is another component, this is all going to be one child content. The problem is what you would run into if you were doing this like the way that I did the very first time that I encountered it, and you just wanted to be like, I want a card header and a card body and a card footer, and you were trying to add multiple types of things, you'd quickly find that you need to create a parameter for each of those. Render. But I don't know that I've ever tried it like this before. I really don't know what this does. But the point is, it's going to treat this as child content, even if, yeah, I think this is what would happen. Even if we had a parameter called card header, it would treat this as child content. So in order to use this, I would need to do card header equals, and then I would need to instantiate a new card header class object down here and feed that into card header here. So you're like, well, I need it to be a render fragment. So fine, let's do a render fragment card header. So now we have a render fragment for card header, which works perfectly, but that also means that we need a render fragment for body and footer. Awesome, we've solved the problem. So now this structure works perfectly, and it's going to behave the way that you think it's going to behave, where we have a card header, an optional card header. So actually, let's say we didn't have a card footer on this. Then we wouldn't need to worry about that. And then we would just replace all of these with the actual card header, card body, card footer. However, what about the card body rules, where we said we can have multiple 0 or more card texts? So how do I represent this in my card body? Well, we found out that we could do public render fragment card text, as a parameter. But the thing that we can't do, at least last time I tried it, is public list of render fragment card text. I'm pretty sure I've tried this before as my solution, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? Right? I need to test it now. Oop. Test 1, test 2, test 2, test 2, test 2. Now watch. No, my water. Building. And lunch. It's going to launch over here. Come over her. Okay. So we are on the main index page, and it is, oh, right. There is one more thing that I need to change in order to be able to test this correctly, which is I'm going to take all of these. And did I actually copy that? I don't know if I copied that. And I'm going to say, instead of the underscore on all of them, it's going to be capital, capital, and we don't need to do dot render because they're already render fragments. Okay, so if we were supplied a card header, then we output the card header. If we were supplied a card body, then we output the card body. And if we were to supply a card footer, then we output the card footer. So then card text is going to have public render fragment child content. And this is just the standard naming. That's why I'm using the name child content, but you can call it whatever. If there's only one, then you're not expecting any subcomponents inside of there or any subsections inside of there. Nullable. And the only thing that this is going to do is create a div class, and actually I'm going to do it this way, card text with child content output. Okay. It's going to be pretty much the same thing for card link, except card link, maybe it'll probably be the same. And finally, card body needs to be able to output card text. Okay, so, card text is, then for each var card text in card text is output card text. Oh, if card text is not null. Forgot this. There we go. Good, good. What does this look like? Zulia says, oh yeah, yesterday I learned that you can feed serialog.log xyz with JSON serializer.serialize some entity like event args as a parameter. So much easier than manually exploding the data if you're mostly interested in the console output. I'm trying to understand what you mean by that. That was weird. So like you want to have the log display the JSON? F5. Okay. So object of type card text has a property matching child content, but it does not have parameter attribute. Did I forget to put parameter on you? What a special kid. Save. Okay. Interesting. However, what does this look like? Mm-hmm. 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 Why is this weird? So that behaved the way that I thought it should behave. So I'm confused. Except the one thing that looked like it was missing was my structure should look like div class card, div class card body, div class card text. And it currently looks like div class card text, div class card text, div class card text. Where did my div class body go? I really could have sworn that this wasn't a thing. And if it is, then this is going to be much easier for me instead of needing to do this weirdness here. My div class body is below my head. Yes, it is. Should be. But head wouldn't print out unless it was not null, which it is. Not null, because it's right here. So you actually saw a card header too? I'm just completely blind. Let's do it then. Let's just fully implement this in the way that I think it should work, which is a parameter, public, render fragment child content, div card header, child content. So if we provide a card header, then that should get output inside of this div class card. If we provide a card body, that should get output inside of this div class card, and card footer should. Oh, I get it. The body is below the head. Having my head in a separate div from my body sounds medically unhealthy. Private void client on log, sender, event args e, log information blah text, comma, JSON serializer dot serialize. I have been passing just the object itself. Like, isn't there an overload for log information that is object comma message? Or is that only in log error? But yeah, I definitely have been using the JSON serialized version when I'm printing out. So yeah, maybe I do that. Maybe that is how I've been handling that. Except I'm not using Serilog in DDMS, so that's a bad one to open. Let's try our treatment plant upload. Our treatment plant upload. Because if not, if that's not my already standard practice, it should be my standard practice. Loading. While we're waiting for that to loading. Render fragment, render fragment, render fragment. Output the values of those render fragments here. So what do you look like? So we can still see the content of our card, but I'm not getting the actual structure itself. So if I were to put content inside of, yeah, this is kind of what I remember happening. If I were to put content inside of the header here, her is me header. Then we will see the text, but we will not get the structure that we're expecting to see. Why we're getting card text inside of here, I don't know. Like, how is this thing actually printing out the div class card text and the other one is not? So then you may be tempted to say, all right, well, we know about this render fragment here that is child content. So let's get rid of those three individual render fragments. And let's just use the type itself. So we get rid of these, and we just only output child content inside of the card. Why aren't you KUing? Because we don't like the Jayhawks, obviously. Ooh. Logger. Do any of you guys log the serialized object? So here's me extracting just the user ID. I'm not seeing any instance where I am logging so far the app or an object into my logger. But I remember doing some of that. I know that I've done it before. Yeah, here's log error where I'm passing in the exception and the error message, but that's definitely not what you're talking about. I really thought that I've printed out an object in my logger, in my logging. What about you, RMA Water? What do you taste like? Pickles. Okay, so here is the error that we get. There are no errors so far. Optional. Ah, yeah. Waiting for it to rebuild, I think. Are we still waiting for it to rebuild? No, it's done rebuilding. So we will get an error while it's trying to render that says object of type card body does not have a property matching the name card content. Card body only has, or child content, card body only has a render fragment list, or a list of render fragments. So there is no child content for card body. So then does that mean that we need to change this to child content? Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I know where this is going. What about you? Logger. Boston Lager. Boston for beer. What? Bostish? You know what, Zilius? I'm like so sure that I've logged an object before in log information. But like you can see all of these where I'm just using an interpolated string. Yeah, here's one. Here's one. And I'm doing it terribly. Site set. So I am passing in the serialized JSON, or the serialized object as JSON, but not in a if this wasn't Serilog, this could potentially be very inefficient to use a serialized string. What they recommend that you use, I said serialized string, interpolated string. What they recommend using instead is a string template. because with an interpolated string, this thing needs to be created every single time the log error is called. So this would need to create a new string in memory with all of the filled in values versus a string template, a templated string that is always in memory or doesn't need to be recreated every time. It's always referenced from one place, and then the values are substituted in. But in Serilog, I believe, and is this, I don't even know if this app is using Serilog or not, or just the built-in extension, Microsoft extensions about logging. In Serilog, I believe that it will still perform the same with interpolated strings. And I'm remembering this from a video that Nick Chaps has put out before. And Soft as in Software is here. Hello, Soft as in Software. Quick shout out to you. Any clips yet? No. Soft as in Software asked, did you hear the great news? Was it from the Office add-in community call or whatever it's called? Because if so, then I haven't. Oh no. Wait, what? DC Aggie came back from his meeting. I hope your meeting went well and it wasn't too boring. You missed that I gave you a shout out and I said that your Mario Kart race, the very first one that you opened up with yesterday, it had me on the edge of my seat. Like you just kept getting knocked back to second place, and in the end, you pulled it out, and you're like, I can't believe I pulled that off, or pulled that out or something. Microsoft open sourced its new emojis. They're called Fluent Emoji. They are a collection of familiar, friendly, and modern emoji from Microsoft. So apparently emoji is at least the way that they're using it here, because you can absolutely trust the grammar and spelling in Microsoft Docs. Anyway, emoji is the plural for emoji. But Digasoft said, what are you even putting that there for? What does it mean? I'm so confused. This is how I did it. Digasoft, Stockholm Syndrome, Blob, Master, Stockholm Syndrome Web, Pages, Operations, delete.cshtml.cs. I was too busy reading the path to your GitHub project called Stockholm Syndrome. Emoji is the plural for emojum. Yes. And then I also wanted to know, DC Aggie, have you been going into your office more often? I believe you said that if you still have the same job, you were able to get an office on campus, and you've been able to work from there, get out of your small, cramped apartment space during your workday. I could be confusing you with someone else, but I think that was the case. I hope that was the case. I want to get something right. But they also have the emojis, Software and Software says, on in a Figma board, Figma project, Figma. I don't even know what you guys are called. What are you guys called? File, Figma Jam file, design file. I don't know what the difference is. It's on Figma, is what Soft and Software told us. Duso's here. Hello, Duso. It's been a while. I hope you have been well, keeping yourself healthy. DC Aggie says, I'm there right now. I'm approximately 1 day a week on campus at the moment. Sometime in the next couple of months, they'll move from my current nice office to a tiny windowless one. I'm sorry, I could have read that correctly, but it was just too fun to read it the way that it typoed. To a tiny windowless one in a less desirable building. Yeah. I'm definitely feeling that office space vibes with you. That's my stapler. Up in this whole place, yeah. Yep. You can't put me back to it. I'm a person. I have rights. But anyway, what's going on, Duco? Do so. Wait a minute. Let's talk, Duso. Are you being funny, or are you being serious that your lead actually said something like that to you, or the senior contractor did? Ooh, and thank you for that announcement too. Duso posted in Discord that this weekend is a free weekend on Pluralsight. Get your learning in for free. All right. Is everything done now? No, card footer. Oh, we didn't even look at the sample because I was too busy talking about the name of the project. Um, so yes, Ducasoft also. Wait, what is ops here? Ops is an object. So when you do this and it actually logs it, Ducasoft, does it serialize it for you? And are you using Serialog for your iLogger? I'll give him some time to answer that while we try to figure out what the structure is. Oh, wow. We got the full structure. I was not expecting that to just work. Okay, so the whole reason that I was following that pattern with the surrounding... Man, what? That's really confusing. Following the pattern with surrounding all of my child content in card with a cascading value to pass itself down was so that the child content, the elements inside of the child content, could register themselves into this card object. And that way, if any changes are made into the child content, we would be able to refresh the entire card itself. And I learned that approach from a DevExpress tutorial, and that would be good if my parent card component, my parent wrapper component, needed to keep track of parameters and properties of its children. But since it doesn't, like if I had a card count or something like that, how many card text elements does this thing have, and I'm outputting it here on this screen for whatever reason I'm outputting it on this screen, then I would want a reference to my child content, the actual list of card text, which I would need to get through card body, which would have a property that tells me what the card texts are. But we don't need that. This is just a simple, straightforward, I have this wrapper up here that's going to have a card body, card header, card footer, in whatever order the user wants. So I guess the other thing is that this makes for an unstructured component, because not only can I have card header, card body, card text inside of that component, I could do something crazy like have another index page. Well, no, that would be bad. Have a deposit entry page inside of this card, like directly inside of the card. And it would be fine. And it would break my card, because now my card structure is card, page content, card header, card body. And I don't want that. So if I want to control what elements my card can have, yeah. So Dukasoft says, I'm using Serilog. Setup is in program.cs. It is Serilog with Seek. And Duso was being serious. Duso said, about a month ago, the full-time employee senior front-end developer left. I have about 4-ish months of experience with Angular, and this app is all custom. And so we hired some contractors to work on it, and he, being your senior, got around to looking at some code and working a ticket. He was as stumped as I have been, and this was just trying to add 2 dropdowns to a dialogue. Okay, so he wasn't calling you a crap developer. You were calling yourself a crap developer. You aren't. So he was pitting you, like, here's Duso's. I keep wanting to combine your name with Dukasoft's. Here's Duso's original comment. I suck at my job, and the senior contractor said that he pities me after looking through the code base. That kind of made it seem like he was looking at your code in the code base and saying, I pity you. Like, you really shouldn't be doing this. That's kind of the vibe that I got from it. And that's why I was like, do they really just say that to you? That's not something a senior should say to anyone, ever. Anyone should ever say to anyone else. But he was pitying you because he was having the same struggles looking at the original code base that you were having. Oh. Whew. But that does not give you any indication that you suck at your job. Oh, no. Oh, no, no. And welcome in. All right, Captain. Should still be here. It sounds like Captain Commerce's son stubbed his toe. I hate stubbing my toe. A few nights ago, I was complaining to myself about needing to cut my nails because it's been a while, and I just know that when my nails get long, accidents happen. And like the day that I was complaining about my nails being long, I caught it on the underside of my bed, my toenail, and bent it backwards. I hate that feeling so much. But yeah, guess what? Still haven't cut them. They're still there. Anyway, point is, with this card component, I'm going to make the decision that I want to control the structure that can be inside of this card component. And if we're trying to use elements, you know what would be great? What is a good first-party component that we have access to that would give us a compile time error? An input text, maybe? Interesting. So that does not give us compile time errors. But we should get a runtime error that says input text cannot have, oh, input text must be inside of a edit context. That's one of the major ones. So it's not even going to try to render. So edit form. And actually, that said, I wonder, since the only thing that it requires is an edit context, can we create our own edit context? Oh, how about localizer? Why not? No, we need the actual. We should have some kind of input stuff. Deposit entry model item. Okay, so we can't initialize it out here, is what that just told me. I still have that in my clipboard. So then can we manually have a cascading value of edit context? It needs a value for value expression parameter at find value. Oh my goodness, cooperate with me. Pray, please. Pray, please. Whole dot, I don't know, memo. I'm a memo. Are you happy with us yet? But yeah, notice that all of these are runtime errors. So even though I have child content inside of my input text, it's not angry at me. And I don't know if it's because that's the way that the input text component was put together, where if you specify a child content and the thing, I don't know. do you even have a child content parameter? No idea. I'm assuming it doesn't have child content, but it's also not going to render anything that is put inside of it. So there's no errors that say I don't accept a child content. So I was trying to find out what the behavior would be in a standard component, like currently adopted practices of a standard component. No clue. Do I want to go ahead and constrain this card to only have a card header, card body, and card footer instead of child content? Okay, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okie dokie. I keep forgetting about turning on my stepped away screen. But what is it? What am I trying to? What brain? There was someone at my door that rang the doorbell, and I was okay with that. I was just ignoring it. And they rang it again, and then knocked. And I was like, all right, maybe this is someone that actually needs attention. And didn't see any vehicles out front or anything like that. So I'm like, all right, this is not going to be someone that I want to respond to. It's probably a door-to-door salesman. Sure enough, we waited long enough, and they rode off on their I can't think of the name of those things. Segway. They're called segways. On their Vespa. No. Anyway, welcome back, Captain Commerce. How did the operation go, Doctor? Will he pull through? Yes, DC Aggie. That was awesome. Zulia says, so let's see if I rinsed my coffee machine properly from that anti-calcium stuff I used earlier. Hope your coffee doesn't taste weird. I've used vinegar before in my coffee maker. It seemed to work fine. Yeah. Ooh, DC Aggie. Man, I am so lazy. I told myself that I was going to be using my French press more often because it makes less waste, the coffee tastes better, and yeah, yeah. And I just haven't. And the other thing that I was doing was grinding my own beans. So I get a big bag of beans so that, again, less waste. Use have more coffee on hand. Ow, I gotta hang now. Talking about nails. Daddy Captain Commerce, I think I need a band-aid. Been living the coffee pod life since I moved for the pandemic, and I'm looking forward to strong, oily cups of French press again. Yeah. But I also have a French press, and I keep making excuses to myself. Like, I want my coffee first thing in the morning when I wake up, and if I don't drink coffee first thing in the morning, I'm gonna have a headache. But it's like I need to be okay with it because my process for the French press is wait for the tap water to get hot enough, fill my French press with hot water, leave it there for about a minute inside of the metal sleeve, pour out the hot water, put in my coffee, pour in the Keurig hot water. So I just put it under the Keurig and have about 2 cups, two coffee mug amounts of water in it. Let that settle, and then do the plunger after like 2 minutes. And I'm like, that's too much time. I want my coffee right away. Hold on. And then the other thing that I tell myself is by the time I get to my second cup of coffee, it's already cold because I live in a cold environment. I don't go outside. What are you doing? This finger. This hangnail. I need clippers. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. I have an old Philips Senseo. Is that one, does that one have a heating burner thing? Because maybe that's just all I need to do is find a heating plate that works with my French press. Actually, I don't know if this is right, so I'm gonna look it up real quick while I'm saying it. But you can use coffee grounds in your disposal unit to help clean it out and keep it clean. If you have a disposal unit, of course. Coffee grounds should always go in the trash. Why you shouldn't put coffee grounds down the sink? Tell me why I shouldn't. The grounds build up inside of your sink drains, creating clogs that prohibit the drains from doing their job. They should always be put in a trash can. They also serve as nice fertilizer. It should go in the compost, says Tyron, because you're a good man. And hi, Tyron. Okay. Well, I heard some time ago that coffee grounds in the disposal unit are good for breaking up the pieces of stuff that's stuck inside of the disposal unit when you have it on. And they're small enough that they won't dull your blades. But the problem is further down in the pipes, apparently. All right, then. Done with that. That's not happening anymore. Thindle's here. Eggshells and ice, says Tyron. All right. Wives' tales for the win. I need to leave that alone. 7-Eleven black coffee is underrated. I've never had it. I might try it. It's only a coffee pad machine. Doesn't have any functionality for keeping it warm or whatever. The most it could do was to add milk foam, but I think I lost the adapter for that. No. Ice and white vinegar when my disposal is stinky dirty. Stinky dirty. Stinky dirty is a thing. I live in a condo, says Thindle. Someone else will deal with it. For his clogged pipes. Diso says, I think I read that ice and a bunch of salt in combination will help clean the disposal as well. Cool. Ice it is. No more coffee grounds for me. Oof. I wonder how bad my drains are. Well, again, I said that I've been lazy with my French press, so I'm not really dumping the coffee down the drain very often, as it is. Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about, Fendel. A disposal unit. Food disposal unit. Garbage disposal. Awesome. Congratulations, Captain Commerce. You have won the lottery. Dukasoff says, I only have a trash can under my sink. I have trouble putting the trash can inside of a cabinet. It weirds me out. Findle says, same, Dukasoft. And it's not connected to the sink, it's only placed there. Yeah. TC Aggie says, Soylent for me. Lunch of business. Busyness. Thanos says, probably because it won't fit because you have industrial equipment under your sink. We could have opted for putting a trash bin pull-out thing in our island. That we own. It's an expensive island, too. Let go of my finger. You're bothering me so much. The only thing I can do is talk to chat and do terrible things to my finger by pulling a hangnail. Stop it. Leave it alone. Is it tropical? No, it's not. It's deserted. Does that help? Like, I put a whole bunch of cakes and cookies on it and pie. Hey, I made a funny. Talk to chat and nom nom on your fingers. That's what I'm doing. Like, nom, nom, nom. That's gonna hurt like an MF when you finally get a hold of it. Yeah, I just need to wait until I can go upstairs and get clippers. So let's just work on this for 20 minutes. The decision that I've made is that I would really like to have better handling on the content inside of my card. You know what? I have a card component in my library that's done better than this. So since this card component is only going to be used with this project, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to be okay with when I use the card, I will make sure to follow the card structure that I intended it to have. Stop. Stop poking your nail. So anyways, except for your nail that's annoying you, and before you start serious programming stuff, how are you? It's always hard to answer that question because I'm not really aware very often of my emotional state. It's either I'm anxious or I'm having fun, but never really a deep dive into how am I really? Because I don't really know. I'm sure that I am somewhere deep inside. See, this is what happens when I'm talking. Somewhere deep inside. Awesome. Thank you so much for the follow, Lendrix. Um, somewhere deep inside, I am super duper anxious about the Google interview because I still have no idea what I would do if Google offered me a position with their company. Because it's not the interview that I'm nervous about. I want to work with .NET Technologies. Plus, I don't want to need to rearrange my schedule so much. I don't want to use evening time for streaming. I'd rather keep streaming during my normal workday. As I'm talking about wanting to work with .NET, my Microsoft alert just went off for new job postings for the week. It's funny. But yeah, I don't know. Google interview. What is the first thing you do when you have a requirement you are familiar with? I mean, aren't familiar with? DC Aggie says, I pull up Bing and search for it. Interview. I think we're done here. Celia says, I'd rather wish you success landing a job at Microsoft, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I just haven't heard anything back from them. Well, never mind. I have heard a lot back from them. I've applied for about 18 positions, or I have around 18 positions that I'm applied for. He's still going after it. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Yeah. I have about 18 open, and I probably have about 20 that I got the email back that says, "Thank you for your interest in Microsoft. We're happy that you were trying for a job, but we aren't considering you for this position anymore. Please don't let that discourage you from applying for future positions." And I'm not. But I would rather hear something back at least once. But of course, right now with pretty much all of big tech needing to do this reprioritization thing, yeah. Have you considered talking to someone in DevRel who hangs on Twitch if they can give you a push reference? I have, and I have done, and I have gotten. Well, I've applied in total to about 30 or 40. But I currently have 18 open. applications. I think I missed something. DC Aggie, while ADHD level greater than max ADHD, chat, talk, sleep 100. Yes. Captain Commerce says, I applied to Microsoft for the best database software out there, Excel. They said no. So then I applied to the 4th tier database, Oracle. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Instead of building with Blazor, you could build Blazor. So one of my passions and the thing that I think I would excel at on a team is I want to make developer experiences amazing because I want to attract more people to software development. One of the teams, though, one of the things that I saw was being recruited for actively or currently was the low code, no code solution at Microsoft. I can't think of what the platform is called. And I'm like, yeah, at least it would get me into Microsoft and I'd be working on a tool for developers, but I still am a pretty big fan of allowing people to write software. It was another one. What was it? Let me look. Let me look for it. No, it wasn't Power BI. DC. I mean, that is the one that usually has a tag phrase of low code, no code. Careers. Sign me up. Sign me in. And of course, I only actually put in applications for things that I believe I am qualified for and am interested in doing. You know what? Easier way would be, yeah, there goes all of my, we're no longer considering you. Job alerts. View. Viva. No, not Viva. Not intern. I don't think I'd qualify to be an intern, or I just can't afford being an intern. DCIE said, did I actually read this? I've been working with Oracle for 7 years now. I hate it. I'm not learning to like it. I don't like the tool. Do you use Toad with it? I don't like the company. I wish my org would just ditch it. I liked using Toad with Oracle. It was fun for me. And the whole concept of schemas being something completely different than what you get with SQL Server. And what's the other thing that they use? Aliases. Just aliases. That whole concept kind of blew my mind. The DC Aggie said, all I get is we're currently too busy to take anyone new in for an internship that they don't have to pay for. I'll keep trying though. I hope you get it, definitely. In the US, internships are paid. Unpaid internships are illegal. Anyone who wants you to be an unpaid intern is probably a scam or abusive. And PSA. Thank you so much for that PSA. Zulia says, all I get is deathly anxiety on just the thought of applying to a decent company. Not gonna lie, I still get that too, but I have goals, and those override my anxiety. Dickasoff says, well, I am getting paid, but I have special needs, so the state is paying me. The state is the one that's paying you. Gotcha. Office 365, Defender. Do you enjoy solving problems? Do you enjoy writing software? It wouldn't be that one. I didn't apply for principal software engineers. Commercial software engineer? I mean, this sounds fun. This sounds like something I would also enjoy doing. But it also kind of sounds like the work that I'm currently doing, which is good because that means that I qualify for it. There it is, Azure Logic Apps. This is the one that I was thinking of. Logic Apps is the only service of its kind which makes it super simple to integrate with many services to write a single line of code, but built for developers and non-developers alike. The simplicity of the Logic Apps designer is what brings the power of Azure to the masses. As a serverless PaaS offering with Azure, Logic Apps makes it easy to not only build your applications, but also to deploy and maintain it without needing to worry about the infrastructure hosting it. So it's the entire platform as a service, but where was I thinking that I read something about low code, no code? I think it was just because it's built for developers and non-developers. Oh yeah, and integrate with many services without needing to write a single line of code. So I don't want to take away the experience of writing code because of how much I absolutely love it. But I also want to give people that are just interested in using these services the ability to use the services without needing to know how to write code, especially if you're not interested in it or just can't be bothered. So, you know. Zulia says, when I joined my apprenticeship company, their products were targeting both Oracle and MySQL, Microsoft SQL. MySQL. I know how to read. But during my time there, they retired the Oracle support. I felt good about that. Congratulations on that. Yeah, Dukasoft without writing a single line of code. Boring. Yeah, whenever I see those helpful and useful interfaces for writing us a piece of software by dragging and dropping components, I'm like, I want to go away from that. I don't want to be anywhere near that. But at the same time, I want to make stuff for people that want to do that. So I'm so torn. Torn. Anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, because I mean, regardless of what the end product is, I will be writing a lot of code, and that's what I want to be doing. But my passion really currently is automation and um, making the developer experience better, making people want to use Visual Studio or whatever the thing is. You know what my real passion is. I want to make an IDE for XR. For you to make XR experiences in XR. That's my ultimate goal. I'm gonna tear my finger apart. I need to stop talking with you guys because that's making me play with my finger. That's terrible. Don't say that. I'm waiting for DC Aggie to finish his uh, made up story. I can't think of what they're called. Anecdote? Anecdote. I think anecdote is the word I was looking for. I think that's it. DC Aggie says, here's the vendor. They say, our solution eliminates the need for writing code. Me. Oh no, my job. Vendor. Demos codeless solution. Me. And I was worried about my job. Oh my gosh. He says my musings. That's what he calls them. I like it. Yeah, I'm doing absolutely nothing but picking my finger apart. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the conversation. I know that I'm kind of going off on tangents, but it's your day. I want to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. I kind of drove the conversation, but I wanted to let you guys drive. I'm so forceful. Stop. Why can't I stop? It's like, I don't know. It's like if you have a scab that itches, you just keep picking at it. Even if it doesn't itch, you just tend to pick at it. I haven't had a scab for a long time. I haven't done anything dangerous. Maybe I need to keep my nails long. Anyway, we have our card component. The end. I would like my card component to just be this. So I'm okay with that. There is one thing that we're going to add to every single one of our pieces, parts and pieces of the card component, and that is additional CSS that the user might want to add. So if, let's create a parameter for it. Public string. I know. That's my fault. Findle says, you're talking, streaming, murdering your fingers. I'm just spying on the colleagues I used to work with 14 years ago. Like checking on their LinkedIn without it showing that I checked their LinkedIn. That's terrible. Is that still considered insta-stalking when you're doing it on LinkedIn? Tukasoft, add 24 hours to stream. One day. I wonder. Oh, I wonder if coding streams count towards Extra Life. Like I would do Extra Life Charity as a coding stream, as a 24-hour coding stream. I wonder if I would be able to sign up for that. I do that when I have anxiety attacks and my fingers end up hurting for a week. Then says, dude, stop. The professional version of stalking on an ex on Facebook. Yes. Stalking ex-coworkers and ex-employers on Facebook. Or on LinkedIn. Additional CSS classes. Get set. String, not string, private string. Look, I'm getting a thing done. CSS classes. So I like doing it this way because it's just easier for me. At CSS classes. Interpolate this. Card, $, curly brace, if string is null or white space, additional CSS classes, then don't print anything out. Otherwise, print out the additional CSS classes. Close parentheses. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do for this. The reason that I am doing it this way is because I don't like to have extra spaces in my class list. In this way, I will only have card by itself if no additional CSS classes were specified. Otherwise, if there were additional CSS classes, then it adds a space followed by those additional CSS classes. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to do that for all of them, and by the time we come back on Tuesday, we will have something that we can do that will be fun. body. Copy. The text. What are we doing? It says pasta header link CXSS cross-site anti-forger cross forgery anticipation. Class says impasta run card link, and finally card text. See, when I ignore chat, I get stuff done. That's no way to live. That is zero way to live. Zulia said, I swear, Google is monitoring this chat. We just had this conversation about Oracle, and now my YouTube feed is showing me some Oracle video. Haven't had that in my feed for months now. Absolutely a thing. It's a real thing. Findle said, isn't it kind of creepy to have someone you worked with 14 years ago suddenly pop up in people who watched your profile, though? No. It's the same feeling I get if anyone contacts me out of the blue, where I'm like, social. I didn't initiate this contact. DC Aggie says, put gloves on. That or you'll get this cone of shame like my cat. Yeah. Oh, your cat is so pretty. I love your cat. Findle said, I'm trying to be sneaky about it. Are you using a different login, different account? I'm going to go to this screen and finish up in chat. We'll come back again on Tuesday. Just a reminder, Monday I'm not going to stream. Tuesday we'll have the stream at 15 minutes earlier than what it says on the screen. The video from yesterday should be posted on YouTube now. And today's video will be posted, I'm going to schedule it to be posted on Monday on YouTube. Then Thindle said to DC Aggie, my name is Thindle, and I approve of this message. DC Aggie said, if Oracle showed up in my Facebook ads, I'd block them. Digsa says, coffee, coffee, coffee. I want more coffee, hoping for cheap coffee from Google ads. Yes. Thindle said, nah, I'm circling around LinkedIn and trying to find other places that they are at or something. Anyway, later's Captain Commerce. Captain Commerce is streaming tonight, so be sure to look out for the notifications in Discord. If you haven't already, then follow him so that you can get notified when he goes live. Zulius says, thank you for the stream and have a good weekend, everyone. You as well, Zulius. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Thindle said, but some people work in it, but still barely have a digital footprint. I'll understand it someday. DC Aggie says, I'll follow you on YouTube and I'll make it rain likes. Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm going through the process, or I've downloaded all of my videos so far that I've posted to the projects folder, and I'm going through the process of editing them, trimming out all of our back and forth interaction, because that's for the live stream. You know what I'm saying? That's for us. The YouTube videos are for informational purposes and maybe a little bit of entertainment. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Hanging in and out. I hope you enjoy your weekends. I'll be back again on Tuesday. I'll let you know on Discord how things go on Monday. For the rest of the day today, I'll be in the community channel chat, voice channel, community voice channel, after I go and get something to eat, because I have been in the habit of at least getting a yogurt, maybe getting some leftovers. But yeah, I'll see you again next time, where we will focus on building up our index page, our landing page. Now that we have our card component done, um, we will start putting content on the page and styling it. All right then, that's it. Ciao for now. See you on the next times, whenever you come back around. I don't know. Mumble, 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 mumbling, mumble, mumble, mumble.